Today's video, we're going to be showing you how to put together your own ATS optimized resume template for the Meta Rotational Product Manager role in 2026. My name is Rich, and in today's video, we are going to be walking you through the 19 most common backgrounds, what their resume should look like, and we're covering everybody from non-technical backgrounds like teachers, artists, social workers, software engineers. I'm going to be walking you through all of these different positions like management consultants, MBA grads, investment banking analysts. What is the strategy in crafting your resume? How do you go ahead and stand out? What is your secret weapon? And we're going to be going through almost all of the resume templates. As you can see here, they are different positions like software engineer. This one here is an MBA candidate, all the way down to project managers, to even people that are coming from a recruiter background. We've also scraped up, let me go out there and take a look at this. We've also scraped up some Meta RPMs. As you can see here from this list, you can see what are some of their backgrounds, where they went to university, what were some of their majors, and it ranges from people that have that are actively Meta Rotational Product Manager right now to people that have graduated from previous cohorts. They literally take in every background imaginable. We've grabbed it all for you here, and we will go through them one by one right now. My name is Rich, your favorite tech career coach, and if you don't know who it is that I am, I run Product Gym, and I also run another company called Tech Careers. We've helped people break into the hottest companies and the hottest roles for the past 9 years. As of 4 hours ago, we just dropped this one here for Lucid Motors, but we've helped people land revenue ops, product manager roles, remote head of digital product manager roles. That's a head position, all the way down from like people that come from like weird backgrounds, such as like finance over to fintech, Capital One. We do this for people that are in the UK, sales to product management, AWS, even our friends in Canada. We do it all. We even helped this person here land an Amazon product manager job with an H-1B visa, and that happened 5 months ago, which is this year. Having said that, let's get back here. There's going to be so many different backgrounds that you're going to be competing against with. There's 8,000 to 12,000 applicants for the role. We actually did a search. Maybe you didn't know, or maybe you did, but I want to go out there and reiterate it for the people that don't know. There's 8,000 to 12,000 applications per cycle, and they're only taking in about 40 to 60 people globally. You'll either end up at King's Landing, Menlo Park, or you will make the right decision and come here to New York. They do hire for the Seattle location, Austin, global locations also includes like London, Singapore. You are competing against the best of the best, the cream of the crop. And I've mentioned this in my previous videos, which is part of the Meta RPM series. Statistically speaking, on paper, you have a better chance becoming a Navy SEAL than getting into a Meta RPM position. So what do we do about that? Let's do everything that we can to up your odds. In my previous videos, I recorded a video on how to ace the Meta Product Manager Product Sense interview. And the video just right before this, I did one on how to 7 ways to go ahead and stand out. Now let's talk about what is your strategy if you're coming from one of these backgrounds. Well, let's take a look at what's our game plan here. In the 20-some backgrounds that we've listed, the first one is non-technicals, and we've grouped them into number 1 because the role itself serves as a leadership pipeline for Meta, and they are putting it out there that they want people that come from non-traditional backgrounds, and the more out there the background is, I don't want to use adjectives like wild or crazy, but you don't think about teachers making a transition into product management, but they do. There's artists that make a transition. There's social workers that make a transition. Of course, there are software engineers. There are management consultants. There are MBA grads. There are investment banking analysts. There are military veterans. You compete against a lot of military veterans, and yes, you do. I want to go out there and highlight this. We thank all of you for your courageous service, but you do compete against people that came out from special forces, people that come out from civic tech, government, people that are founders of startups, customer support and user operations roles, sales and business development, internal transfers. There is a percentage of people that come from Meta internally that are already there working in operations, marketing, HR, and etc. You have cybersecurity folks, you have lawyers, you have accountants, you have business analysts, you have QAs, you have data analysts, you have project managers, you have recruiters. There is so many backgrounds. Holy shit. And on top of that, we have the resume templates for all of these different backgrounds, and I'm going to walk you through them. Just to let you know, you can access all of these resources, and all you got to do is click on the link in the description and it'll bring you to this page. For $57 a month, we also pair you up with mock interview partners in addition to giving you a quick resume review. And we have all the templates, the resources, everything that you need and more. But for now, I'm going to go back into talking to you about this. There basically is two different stakeholders that are going for this role right now. On one side, you have a technical stakeholder, and then on the other side is you have non-technical stakeholders. For every single person, you have a strategy and you have some advantages based upon your background. What we want to go ahead and do here is maximize our opportunities on your strengths, minimize the risk on your weaknesses. If you are a software engineer, to give you an example, if you're a software engineer, and I tell this to everybody, if you know how to build, you got to learn how to market and sell. If you know how to market and sell things, you have to learn how to build. In my next video, I'm going to cover for you, is coding required for the product manager, rotational product manager role? No. But this is actually something that we cover in our program, which is showing you how to code with Vibe Coding, Claude Code 2.0, Cursor, Codex, because it's showing them that you can compensate. What are you doing when you're a little bit lacking in an area? Do you have enough self-awareness to acknowledge that you're lacking in that area? What did you do about it? You made some time, but what did you do during that time? You made a plan. You said, well, this is what it is that I need to know, and then you did something about it. That is what is hot for Meta when it's not about you knowing how to code, is you took it upon yourself to do something that wasn't naturally in your wheelhouse, and you had the self-awareness to actually say, I would be a product manager if I knew this skill, while other people choose to procrastinate or they make an excuse. We don't want to be in that category, which is why come into the program. We'll go out there and help you level up. So let's talk about the strategy here. If you're a non-technical, you got extremely high user empathy. You stand out by being scrappy, and your secret weapon is your background, and like, you're good with people. You're extremely, extremely, extremely good with people. What you need to make up for is, well, you need to make up for it with some of the technical knowledge and some of the AI knowledge and some of the agentic skills. If you have that, you look like a very well-rounded candidate. Meta values diversity above all. And the more diverse that you are, the more well-rounded you are. It just shows that you're extremely versatile. Like, we could put you here. Ultimately, we scraped up a list of product managers for you that have made it through the program. And if you take a look at their LinkedIn profiles, you can go ahead and see on their LinkedIn profile that they have something called, very commonly, R1, R2, and R3. R1 stands for like rotation 1, rotation 2, rotation 3. There's, generally speaking, you got about 3 rotations, right? Okay. If we take a look at just like another random person, and you'll actually see, this is my first rotation, this is my second rotation. As the role is suggests in the name, you are going to be rotated. So the more places they think they can move you around to, the more of an advantage you are, the more of a value add you are to them. Because the question that a lot of people aren't really, like, they should be asking is, how do those rotations get determined? Honestly, sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. Like, we just need a body here. That person left. That happens a lot more in recruiting than people actually realize. So if you are a well-rounded person where they feel like, well, we could put this person here, 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 let's just say that there's 10 different spots that you can go to. Do you think the candidate that's only good for 2 to 3 areas of the business is going to be more attractive than somebody that could be good for maybe 5 to 6 areas, or the candidate that could be well-rounded up to like they could be a good fit for like 9 to 10 different areas? The one that's the most well-rounded, because once you go into the RPM track, it's like the military. You go where they tell you to go. You go where they feel you are the most needed in the war effort. So 100%, right? You have to make up for it there. Software engineers, you have to show more of the business side, because clearly if you have a CS degree, they're going to know that you know the coding side, but can you deal with the customer? How patient are you? A lot of software engineers, the natural bias is that they like dealing with code and they hate dealing with people, and they think people are stupid. Where you're going to have to really outshine, because you're going to be competing against probably about like 4,000 other software engineers, not just outside of the company, but think about how many software engineers that are at Meta right now that's just been like, I want to be a PM, I want to be a PM, I want to be a PM. You're going to be competing against them too. There has to be something about you that's different from every other software engineer that wants to be a product manager. Management consultants, we have to shift from slide deck thinking to buys for action. Like, they actually want to see you stand out by focusing on like seeing things through. Don't just say you identify $10 million in saving. You persuaded 3 skeptical department heads to change their workflow. Management consultants, a lot of times, they provide a lot of the strategy, insight, and to a larger extent, they provide a lot of intrigue. But in terms of actually impacting the change and seeing it all the way through, they don't always are involved with that. So that's the part that you have to make up for, plus the technical knowledge. MBA grads, well, the strategy here is avoid corporate speak. Meta's culture is hacker, not boardroom. How to demonstrate that you aren't afraid to get your hands dirty. Highlight side projects, hackathons. Very importantly, small businesses that you have started. We talk about this over and over again. Monetize off of something is going to show that you're just so much hotter, right? So much hotter. Investment banking analysts prove that you have the creative side. Bankers are seen as high output grinders, but PMs need to be visionaries. Don't underestimate this, because a lot of the people that you compete with, especially, no offense, people that are in the Bay Area, maybe it's the New Yorker in me, they would really like to work really hard. So the fact that you're a grinder, we've had so many people land product manager jobs in our program that come from like a finance background going into like fintech. Very much like this gentleman actually right down here. Okay, like into Capital One, they love it. You want to know why they love it? Because they're workers. They grind. They grind and they grind and they grind, but you got to have that creative side. Military veterans, pivot from command to collaboration. So we've included all of these different strategies here. If you have like a special forces background, kudos to you. You are very, very, very attractive. But just understand, you're also competing against other people that have a special forces background. There's a good number of people with a special forces background that actually want to go for the RPM position as well. So in each and every one of our resume templates, what we have done is this. At a standard, we've provided you with a skills chart. We don't expect you to have all these skills, but I really want people to know something. If there's a skill that you don't have, do you think you should learn it, or do you think you should avoid it? I think you'd agree with me. You should actually learn it. These are all the skills that are very up to date right now that's considered very hot. Like 11 Labs is an official partner with WhatsApp. Building a side project with them where you actually have an 11 Labs and WhatsApp integration, very, very, very hot. Okay, because it's showing that you are working on an initiative that they are driving into the marketplace. All of these different resume bullets, you'll see that you should have a uniform 5, 5, and 5, or 6, 6, and 5. Don't have like 2 bullets here, 8 bullets here, 1 bullet here. It just looks dirty. The other thing here is making sure you have the portfolio projects here, 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 here. something that has to do with 11 Labs, an AI agent project, a prompt engineering project. Have a YouTube video where you're saving on tokens, vibe coding, YouTube channel, Instagram, newsletter, all that stuff is very hot. But more importantly is what we work on in the program in terms of helping you kind of level up is like, let's go over here to, and we have additional resume templates basically here, but let's also go ahead and talk about the resume description bullets. What Meta really wants to go ahead and see is what did you achieve, okay, in terms of, we have categories. Were you a part of a product launch? Did you do something that had to do with market penetration? Did you do something that had to do with revenue growth, user engagement, cost optimization, agile implementation, customer satisfaction? Very important, if you notice with these resume bullets, is going to basically be this. What did you do? What was the impact? And how much time did it require you? And the other thing that we want to move away from, and we specifically have it in percentages, but if you're in our program, we actually don't utilize percentages. We have percentages here to make sure people aren't just copy and pasting it and calling it a day. We want people to be very intentional. Because if you're not going to get a Meta RPM job, you're going to get a Google APM job, or you're going to get another job somewhere else, right? When you have a percentage, it's very vague. 30% of what? 25% of what? What you want to go ahead and have is, we increase website traffic from 3,000 visitors a week to 4,000 visitors a week or 7,000 visitors a week, and we did it within 6 weeks. We have a very clear metric of what KPI was impacted, where it started, where it ended up, and exactly how much time it took. So you are giving us actual actionable data instead of, well, I improved this by 25%. 25% of what? This aggravates interviewers. So in your resume, we really want to stress that you had very clear metrics. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Rich, what if I'm a teacher? Again, all of the resume templates, including the resources that we reference, all these error tables that we reference, is all here. What if I'm a teacher, right? Well, if you drop something like, I negotiated $5,000 for a technology grant with a local community foundation within 60 days, okay, that's hot, right? If I am, let's go out there and click on this sales, that's already a very metric-driven job. But let's just say the military, right? Orchestrated a 30-day train-the-trainer program with 150 partner nation forces, resulting in 12 out of 15 squads reaching level 1 proficiency for the very first time. Analyze post-mission data from 50-plus operations to identify recurring tactical bottlenecks and implementing a revised training curriculum that reduced equipment loss by $150,000. That's very clear. Iterated a personnel tracking system in 3 weeks, migrating the paper-based records to a digital dashboard that saved the administrative team 20 man-hours per week. That is something that's very specific. All these templates are yours, mix and match as you would like. But the thing that I want people to take away from the most is you're going to need a website portfolio, you're going to need a YouTube portfolio, and you're going to need an Instagram portfolio. If you do not have a portfolio, you will be at a major disadvantage. Your portfolio projects, you can't just have one portfolio, you can't just have two portfolios. Like, you got to have a constant backlog of portfolio projects. And essentially, you have to have like a little cookie trail of like things that you've done. Like Claude Design recently just came out about 2 weeks ago. And then a week later, you notice when these tools are dropping, they're dropping like basically every Thursday, right? In the afternoon. Because then the nerdies, they work on it all weekend. Every single time something is dropping, we want to make sure that we're on top of it. Like MCP explain, RAG explain. What is a context window? How do you go out there and save on tokens? We always want to be showing that we're ahead of the curve, because there's a secret strategy that a lot of people actually don't consider. Right now, we're talking about the resume, and your biggest intention for the resume is thinking to yourself, like, what am I going to do to get this interview? The odds are stacked against you, but if you're feeling like you have no shot, I really do want you to take a step back. Whether it's with Meta or whether it's with another company, there is a hot tip that I can provide you today. Maybe you'll get some solace. And I covered it in my last video. I don't know if people watched all the way up until that point, but follow up for the position. Getting rejected is a big part of technology. Like all of these companies, they were rejected hundreds of times before they even got a meeting with an investor or a VC. And they were rejected by the same VCs, because there's only so many of them, hundreds of times before they finally got a yes from them. And then they still have to deal with rejection. Not everybody that gets an offer for an RPM position is going to take it. You maybe never even thought about that, but they don't. Life happens. They figured out that, like, you know, my life is, I would love to, but I can't move to San Francisco or New York because of my boyfriend or my girlfriend. They realize they don't want to be a product manager. Like, a lot of the people that get this offer are the people that don't want this offer. So when you see YouTube videos, and we scrape them all, YouTube or like blogs, and they're just like, oh yeah, go out there, have fun, be yourself. These are people that, like, they apply like on a dare. And I know the world's unfair. We all have those friends that never really studied but got okay grades, don't work that hard but always seem to get into some decent company. You, probably like me, are not lucky like those people. We have to work our fucking asses off, right? So if they see that you constantly improve yourself even though you get rejected, there is a lot of data that we've had, because I've been doing this for about 9 years now. You can go out there and trace my career back. I'll tell you this. There is so much data that we have to support that people get rejected, and their chances of converting the opportunity when they follow up exponentially goes up. So your resume is important. Working on skills that you don't have is also important. However, following up is also important. And working on skills that are not your natural skills and strengths, it's not about becoming expert at them, but just even being able to raise the bar a little bit puts you in a very, very different light that makes you look very, very hot. Because those are the types of people that Meta really wants to attract, is above average people. Having said that, the last thing I would have you include on your resume to cut all the noise across is monetize an app or an offer or somebody else's offer or digital product that you launched into the marketplace, and show them the revenue that you have generated from there, and you will be looking like the top 1% candidate out of all the other people that's in the running. Why? Because you've actually made money. This is exactly why startup founders, they're very attractive candidates. Teachers are also very attractive candidates too, just because of all the BS that they have to go out there and deal with. Ex-military also, because they put their lives on the line, right? Like, you lose in that game, it's over. You're not playing again. So anything that you can do to get a bigger advantage, it's all going to go ahead and add up. Progress compounds and effort compounds, just like money compounds. So all these little things, they're going to be the difference maker, versus, like, you know, you can also just go into the interview where I see so many people say, like, I didn't really prepare for it. My friend told me I think I'd be good. And I interviewed, and yeah, I guess I'm an RPM now. That's out of the 40 to 60 people that ended up getting the RPM role. I can promise you, as a former recruiter, that's not the story of most of the people. And that's why our company exists, to provide people with the training to level up. All right. With that said, see you in WAP. Don't forget to grab the subscription, and we'll be talking to you very, very soon.